Joe Biden at COP26, since we were just talking about it. Here is Joe Biden. And what's amazing to me, what's amazing about this, and maybe we'll hear about it later. Do you remember Barack Obama? I think he did a speech, maybe it was in Egypt, within his first year of his presidency, where he basically said, like, sorry for having invaded all of your countries. I guess we didn't really hear the sort of like, there was some type of code in there that like, from now on, we're just gonna bomb you from above.
Fly above it.
Do it like a remote bombs. But nevertheless, if I remember correctly, we spent about 6 to 8 months talking about, I mean, on a daily basis. And then it was just like sort of lore about how Barack Obama was apologizing for America.
Also, I read a book about like how the three major religions can get along, and that in a class for like comparative religions, and that moment of Obama going to Egypt was a pride of place, and like, this is how it's done, folks.
Yeah, and it was relentless. The narrative of how we were apologizing for America, how they were laughing at us because we were apologizing. Meanwhile, here's Joe Biden, like literally apologizing. And I haven't heard a word of it. This happened on Monday at COP26.
At the UN General Assembly, I announced our intention to work with our Congress to quadruple our climate financing by 2024, including support for adaptation. As I said earlier, we'll also make our first ever contributions to the Adaptation Fund. And I guess I shouldn't apologize, but I do apologize for the fact the United States in the last administration pulled out of the Paris Accords and put us sort of behind the eight ball. That's the first thing I did when elected. I see my friend nodding his head over there because we talked about this before while I was running.
There he is, apologizing for Donald Trump pulling out of the Paris Accords. What is stunning to me is, like, have you heard any of this in the right-wing media? No. I mean, how like adamant they were that we're going to pull out of the Paris Accords, how important it was, how debilitating it was going to be to this country. And now the CRT stuff is just working too well.
I think they've picked that, like, that tree clean or suck that bone dry with climate change. I don't think that they necessarily see it as a winning issue.
Do you think it ever really was, or that's just something they throw to like the boss and investor class that really wants in? Like,
I agree.
Was the right really upset about the Paris Accords?
I don't think the right is really upset about anything.
Well, because we also even see some of the ground being ceded here. Like, Tucker Carlson is setting the stage for eco-fascism arguments about how we have to keep people out because, like, essentially they're contributing to the polluting of the country. And we had that domestic terrorist who, I think that was the Walmart shooting down in Texas, who had that reasoning. Like, there, even on the right, is some dread about the climate catastrophe, even if they're not going to do anything about it, right? So I just don't think that they can tap into it in any way outside of, this. Eventually they're going to be using it for border security conversations.
I think, I think they could tap into it. I just think it's amazing to me. I mean, 6 years ago, the deficit was like, we had years and years and years of deficit, like terror. And then it just went away in about 6 to 8 months.
Also, the apologizing for America thing, that was a way for them to say, look, Obama's sympathetic to terrorists.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
So that's like why when Biden literally apologizes,
without a doubt,
he's white, it doesn't matter.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So.
Exactly. Like, all of this stuff is so coded always. Mm-hmm. How could apology be any different from a Joe Biden than a Barack Obama? And there's one word explanation. Well, two-word.
Well,
white, black. That's
right.
it. I mean,
white,
that's
black. And then also the apology being for like, oh, we're in war in the Middle East. And clearly he's more allied with them.
But the funny part is, by that point, there was no appetite for the war. It was all about supposedly this black guy is up there apologizing for me.
It doesn't matter if there's no appetite for war. We saw it with Afghanistan. Images of American might are not being as mighty, like us losing in Afghanistan. That's why Biden's poll numbers tanked in that area for a period of time, because people don't want to see America as weak. They want to see him as strong. And that's what they were trying to do, right?
Yeah. It's fascinating to me how like, there couldn't be a better example of how all this stuff is just sort of coded.